Hi, everybody. It seems like some folks are a little unsure about how to proceed with this part of homework one, and so I just wanted to take a second to try and talk a little bit about it and make sure folks felt comfortable attempting this portion of the assignment. So essentially, question four, as it states here, is really testing your understanding of the difference between using a term and mentioning a term. So just as a quick reminder, right, so I can say, cats have claws. Oh, terrible handwriting. And in this case, right, I'm using the word cats to refer to felines. I'm using claws to refer to the things they have in their hands and feet that scratch us, right? So we can call that sentence one, right? Now, I can also say, right, as sentence two, cats has four letters in it. And in this case now, I am mentioning cats rather than using it, right? Because when I use cats to refer to felines, I just use the word. When I want to mention it, though, I put these single quotes around it, right? Because that tells me that what I'm interested in talking about here are these string of symbols, is the string of symbols here, rather than the thing the symbols typically are used to refer to. And then, part of what makes this question interesting, or this problem interesting on the homework, I think, is partially that it's going to ask you to sort of try and understand this at an even further level. Because I could also do something like this, where I say, cats have claws is the first sentence. So what I've done here is, I sort of used this expression in one in order to talk about felines and their, pointy feet. And then I mention that whole expression here, right, in sentence three, right, by surrounding the entire phrase with the single quotes, right? So that what I'm really saying is, look, this whole sequence of symbols is the right sequence of symbols that is right being used here, and which we've designated as sentence one. Now, and again, we can sort of keep iterating this sort of thing more and more. I'll change colors just so it can maybe keep things clear. But I can say here, sentence four is right. Cats have claws is the first sentence, period, is the third, is the third sentence, because what's happening here, right, is now I have mentioned the sentence here that we called three, and to do that, I just have to go through this process. I put single quotes around this sentence that appears on line three, and then I want to talk about it. So I'm mentioning the phrase here that I used on line three, and to mention I put these sort of, those are big wonky, but single orange quotes around this whole thing. Now, what's maybe interesting or complicated about this is that I am now mentioning a expression from three that mentions something from one, and so what we really end up here with is like a set of nested quotes, right? Because I have to put single quotes around all of three, but three had quotes around part of it, so we have quotes around the start of three here and the end of three here, but three itself has single quotes around the start of sentence one and the end of sentence one there. And so, I can use a phrase as I did in line one. I can then mention, if I want, a word from line one by putting single quotes around it. I can also mention the entire sentence one, as I do here on three, right? And then if I want, I can mention three right, as I do here at 4, and that surrounds, right, all of 3 with single quotes, which itself had a set of single quotes to mention line 1 in it. So ultimately, right, what's being asked here is for you to, right, fill these blanks in a way that makes them true, right? So there's a bunch of statements about the color red, and you want to, right, fill these blanks in a way that will make these sentences true, okay? And that's going to require using certain words and phrases and mentioning certain words and phrases depending on the context. And so you're going to want to figure out, well, am I using something here? Am I mentioning something here? What is it? Am I using something here? Am I mentioning something here? What is it? Am I using, mentioning, etc. Okay? So that's generally how this problem works. And hopefully that gives you at least a little bit of a clearer idea about what sort of answers I am expecting there. If you have any other questions, as always, please feel free to reach out either on the Q&A discussion board or by sending me a message by Canvas. I'll be happy to help.